أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين. There's no God but you. Glory be unto you. Indeed, I was among the wrongdoers. وصلى اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Ameen. Welcome everyone. We're gonna continue on today with the 25th flash on page 278. And before we move on to the 18th remedy, we will go over the last paragraph of the 17th remedy and also share out some takeaways from last time. And so I will pass the mic on to Mariam and Ryan.
We are ready.
All right, let's begin.
All right. Furthermore, if supplications are not accepted in the form we wish, it should not be said that they have not been accepted. The all-wise Creator knows better than us. He gives us whatever is in our interests. Sometimes He directs our prayers for this world towards the hereafter and accepts them in that way. In any event, a supplication that acquires sincerity due to illness and arises from weakness, impotence, humility, and need is very close to being acceptable. Illness makes supplication sincere. Both the sick who are religious and believers who look after the sick should take advantage of this supplication.
18th remedy.
Let's pause. Thank you so much, Ryan. So perhaps can someone help me a little bit understand this last paragraph? I sort of don't quite grasped it, but if anyone want to share out their takeaways. I know they're talking about supplication, but what about it? So I can ask Ryan and Mariam, any of you, if what you took away.
So like I took away kind of like last time when I took away. So basically, like when you are sick, you are helpless, you're like needy, and you need someone to kind of like help you and take care of you. But like you already have someone to take care of you, and that's your Creator. Like He takes care of you every time, so you can't question your sickness because you know why it came to you, and you know that you'll heal from it eventually.
Also, He knows better than us, and like it says, He gives whatever is in our interests. So like, we're sick, we're helpless, we're needy. Like Mariam said, we have the Creator. He's the one that gives the problems, and He's the one that gives the solution. So it's kind of like you can't just be picky on everything because you know you're eventually gonna heal from whatever sickness you're in. But maybe in the olden times you couldn't heal that much. But like whatever, like you just make prayers, dua, and you get it. Like if you're sincere while you're making dua, then maybe the Creator will accept it. I don't know.
So like when you really want to like pray to feel better, and like how Ram said, sincere, it will be accepted because you feel sincere to do it and feel better, and you like understand why you were sick. So like it's a message basically in a way.
Yeah.
Mashallah, thank you both for refreshing my memory on what we spoke about and making the case very clear and practical to our lives. I really like the fact that both of you emphasized on that the one that gives us illness or any sort of event that we experience is the same one that is also setting up the order and creation is in such a way that solutions are available, as in I can follow the order and then expect for some results to be created or given existence. And I think what you both highlighted was this sentence: in any event, a supplication that acquires sincerity due to illness and arises from weakness, impotence, humility, and need is very close to being acceptable. So both Rayhan and Mariam, you emphasized on recognizing our neediness in terms of I don't take care of myself. The one that has brought me into existence is taking care of me. And then even realizing how utterly dependent am I in my existence. And so when I acknowledge the state of my being, which becomes really a sincere worship, because what else is there for me to do? Just acknowledgement is then becomes very sincere, where I realize that what my position in this universe is, that I am being taken care of, and the one who's taking me on this journey should take care of me. So then this acknowledgement becomes like a sincere, active worship, where I am in communication with the source of my existence. Alhamdulillah, that was excellent. Does anyone want to add something?
Oh, that's very good. Thank you. So, like how sickness is kind of like a factory reset to our being. For there was the verse that we discussed in the last time about why man transgresses all bounds. In that he looks upon himself as self-sufficient, which is a verse from the Quran, from chapter 96, verse 6 and 7. So I kind of related that to this paragraph that Rayhan read about sickness, and which arises from seeing that your weakness, your impotence, humility, and need, that you are a created being, you have you are in need, and who can provide that need. So it kind of puts you back into your reset mode, like how you reset your device to your reality, that hey, you're not a self-sufficient, independent being, basically. And you need a caretaker, you need someone who takes care of you, the one who can give you existence, the one who gives you health. And another point also was about the sickness is actually what is a prayer in itself, because that is what is presented to you in your conditions. And so one should not stop like complaining about it, because that is what the purpose of the sickness is. And your prayer basically is to acknowledge your Lord. That is where the prayer plays the role. Your realization, your acknowledgement that you belong to His source and you are in need. That we are, because of the position that you are in, and you forget when you're healthy and you're running around. Man thinks that, hey, I am the one who is doing all these things, when everything is being made available to me only by His providing me existence, His showing me the order in the universe, and I follow all that is there. So that, I think, was a summary for my side.
Jazakallah khair. Any summaries really help out. And what I recall also last week, we touched upon how the point is not to get expected results in this universe, but the point is more about the acknowledgement that I realize, just like Asim pointed out, I realize really what my position here is. And I feel like every moment, not every moment, just like we have to, constantly, not even constantly, but like once in a while, we have to reset ourselves, because that's just how the nature of this world is. And the reason why I brought up this point from last time is because how the author mentions here in the third sentence, sometimes he directs our prayers for this world towards the hereafter and accepts them in that way. And so really the question then becomes, what does this all encompass? What does this entail? How do I understand this? And so I think just like how Mariam And Rayan pointed out earlier that the one that brings us into existence here is the one that's taking care of us. So we all have this notion of death, as coming at any moment. And so when we live with that awareness, we know that this existence is not it. However, this existence is given to me to be utilized to come to my conclusions or to acknowledge really what the reality is. And so again, focusing on the whole point about I will follow the order in creation, but the whole point for me is not to receive the expected result in this universe only, but the whole point of me being in a situation that puts me in a mode of supplication and worship is really my acknowledgement of what lies beyond the apparent causes or what I see here. Alhamdulillah, thank you for really sharing your comments. Let's see anyone else if you wanna share out your takeaways from last time. Ali, Murmur, go ahead, please.
Thank you. I was excited to hear from Mariam and Rayan that this explanation of the text was beautifully summarized. I wanted to say one sentence. The purpose of being ill or the creation of illness is to make us realize that we cannot really own our own body, our own being. That is the purpose. So as we understand that we cannot control our body, we cannot do anything, we cannot really guarantee the health of our body even, to acknowledge this reality as explained, we respond back in the same way in order to express that I am weak, I cannot do even anything to my own body. So the purpose of illness is to teach me that I am a needy one. The purpose of the supplication also to acknowledge the neediness, not to get the illness away from me, but the need for healing, receiving the healing is to be expressed. So actually, physically, what is happening? I am ill and I am praying. I am supplicating. But the purpose of illness and the purpose of supplication, prayer, meets each other at a completely different platform. That was very interesting when I heard Rayan explaining what he has got it, and the further on you said, Asim said something, all contributing to the point. What I said, look, what appears to be in this world is completely different from the things that happen on the other platform of existence, the purpose. So the purpose of the universe cannot be confined to the universe itself. So the purpose is completely different from what the universe is, how the human beings respond to it, but the purposes of both sides are completely different things. It is amazing to realize for me. Thank you very much.
MashaAllah, thank you so much for sharing your comment as well. Anyone else at this point wants to share out their reflections from last time? Or just the message for the sick flashes itself? Feel free to raise your hand. It's good to hear other people's voices because, you know, we just keep hearing the same voices, but diversity is always encouraged. Okay, but we're not forcing anyone. So with that, I guess we can move on with the 18th remedy. So we're gonna have Rayan and Miriam, please take us away with this 18th remedy, inshallah.
Okay. 18th remedy. O sick person who gives up offering thanks and takes up complaining. Complaint arises from a right, and none of your rights have been lost that you should complain. Indeed, there are numerous things which are an obligation for you, a right over you, and these you have not performed. Without Almighty God giving you the rights, you are complaining as though demanding rights in a manner which is not rightful. You cannot look at others superior to you in degree who are healthy and complain. You are rather charged with looking at the sick who from the point of view of health that are at a degree lower than yourself, and should offer thanks. If your hand is broken, look at theirs, which is severed. If you have only one eye, look at the blind, who lack both eyes, and offer thanks to God.
For sure, no one has the right to look to those superior to him in regard to bounties and complain. Concerning tribulations, it is everyone's right to look to those above themselves in that regard, so that they should offer thanks. This mystery has been explained in a number of places in the risale-i Nur with a comparison. A summary of it as it follows.
A person takes a rich man to the top of a minaret. On every step he gives him a different gift, a different bounty. Right at the top he gives him the largest present, although he wants thanks and gratitude in return for all those various gifts. The peevish man forgets the presents he has received on each of the stairs, or considers them to be of no importance, and offering no thanks, looks above him and starts to complain, saying, "If only the minaret had been higher, I could have climbed even further. Why isn't it as tall as that mountain over there, or that other minaret?" What great ingratitude it would be if he begins to complain like this. What a wrong.
In just the same way, man comes into existence from nothing, not as a rock or a tree or an animal, but as a human being and a Muslim, and most of the time experiences good health and acquires a high level of bounties. Despite all this, to complain and display impatience because he is not worthy of some bounties, or because he loses them through wrong choices or abuse, or because he could not obtain them, and to criticize divine dominicality, saying, "What have I done that this has happened to me?" is a state of mind and spiritual sickness more calamitous than the physical one. Like fighting with a broken hand, complaint makes his illness worse. Sensible is the person who, in accordance with the meaning of the verse, those who, when struck by calamity, say, "To God do we belong, and to God is our return." Chapter 2, verse 156. Submits and is impatient so that the illness may complete its duty, then depart.
Jazakallah khair, Rayan and Miriam. Excellent reading. And so now, both of you, can you walk us through? Yeah, I see your hand is raised. So go ahead, walk us through, from the first paragraph, or whichever way you want to do this. Go for it. Yeah, I saw your hand up.
So what I observed in here, one thing that really came out to me was that a person takes a wretched man to the top of a minaret. So like, and he gives him a gift on each step he takes, right? So then this guy has ingratitude, and he's not realizing that he's getting gifts. Like, he's just saying that only the minaret was higher if he could climb even further, because that shows ingratitude, because at least he's getting presents, at least he's getting a bounty, a gift. Well, what about the other people? They're not getting the same gifts as him. So I'm just saying that, like, how could someone just be like that? Like, you can't just say that. Like, you're at least getting gifts. No need to complain.
So I wanted to share like so you know how we get bounties every day? Like you live in a house, you have these things with you. Like you see other people out the streets and you have a house, a TV and other things with you. You have to always say like alhamdulillah for everything you have, because without this you'd be kind of helpless, but you would also like need help. But thanks to Allah all the time, the creator, he gives you all these bounties every day, but you kind of sometimes don't see it. You can't get buy everything every day, but you get health every day because you continue to live on. And also, I would also want to say that how the rich man doesn't like any of the gifts. He says no thanks to any of the gifts or bounties. Like I was just referring to like there's this book I read before, and someone gave him gifts, but the person didn't said that it wasn't something he would want, but it's just like the thought that matters, not the gift.
Mashallah. Thank you both for sharing these wonderful reflections. That really looks like the story of my life. I was like, wait, is the author talking to me? Especially that minaret story. That's really human nature. I mean, we go on with this complaint and without realizing the other things that are around us, just like Miriam pointed out, with all the bounties that are given to us. Even that rectangular huge box is a bounty, right? Everything's gotta be used in its appropriate ways. And really the whole complaining part, I think throughout this course of the message in this 25th flash, the author just keeps saying, stop complaining, really. And it seems that I think these reminders are very, very much important, because I forget. I mean, I just go on living like, oh yeah, is that it? You know, and, you know, we have to really pause, stop, and just reflect on what we have, or even just look down the stairs like, wow, look at all the stuff that I'm given, and rather than just, you know, complaining or saying, oh my God, I wish this was, you know, longer, just like in the story. No, I mean, you know, I was also, yes, just listening to somebody earlier, and he's like, do you really want to live here for 150 years? and I was like, yeah, that's true. Like, I mean, you know, we all, I think everybody gets to realize the reality of this universe. I mean, you know, what's the real deal? But it's just like the author is mentioning, we just have to open up and be in a state of gratitude, just like Rayan pointed out, you know, rather than being ungrateful for things. So that was awesome. Thank you both. And let's see if, oh, look at that. And the fellow here has something to say. Yeah.
Yeah, Mariam's comment and Rayan's comment and your comment kind of excited me. So Mariam has said about, you know, the house, and, you know, also I was thinking also about, you said, Maria, about my life. Yeah, that is how our life, every stage, every step of the way. We just don't realize it, but there is presence all over for me. I can see, you know, the sun is a bounty for me, it's given to me. You know, the day is given to me, the night is given to me to rest. Right? My eyes are given to me to see. you know, my legs to walk, run, hands, you just name it, it just doesn't end. Everything that is given, Mariam said about the health, yeah, everything, your health is given every day, and we just, there's no gratefulness, there's no, if you say this is not important, if you say the sun is not important, the plant is not important, the fruit is not important, we're just denying all these bounties that we are being given, right? So that just really excited me a little bit. You know, I mean, that's, I was thinking for myself, wow, you know, this is a truth, like a very real story for me.
That's true. That's true. Jazakallah khair for sharing that. It's I think the more we're like sharing our takeaways, personal reflections, I think the more, you know, it sinks in. You really realize like, whoa, you know, where am I at? What am I up to, and what do I need to do, really? Otherwise it's just like being stuck in a rat race. And you know, this whole being grateful for bounties, I think that's a very, very crucial, and I wouldn't say like a therapy, because maybe, yeah, because you see it a lot now in a lot of I guess different in the secular world, you know, how you have different meditation techniques, or even like you know, like those kind of session where they try help out people stay in a positive mindset. So they really bring this element of gratefulness. And I think it's very applicable to everyone at any time, in any conditions, just like Asim mentioned. Like things just like the walking, grabbing your pencil, a cup of tea, or just like rotating your neck left and right. Like, whoa, how does that happen? If you wake up with a stiff neck, then you're like, yo, I've been taking all of this for granted. So I think counting really our blessing is the first step. And I mean, otherwise complain is nonstop. Once you start, oh my God, you can just go on like the whole day, like a whole week. I remember a couple of years ago, I was just walking off from work with a coworker. You know, we were just like Friday evening, yapping, you know, just complain nonstop. You know, he did that. Oh my God, like, what? You know, like just, it can't just go on forever and ever. And then suddenly, you know, she said, wait, pause. I was like, yeah, pause. She's like, you know what, let's just leave with 3 blessings we are grateful for. And I was like, you know, that's the reality. You know, otherwise you can just get lost with, you know, I don't have this, I want this, you know, he did that, that was injustice, you know, how come I don't have that, you know. And so pausing and just reflecting on existence. I know we talk about air, breathing, but this is it. I mean, I think even this is being taken for granted. Like people have, you know, breathing techniques, even meditation. No, I mean, this is serious stuff if we really reflect on it. Like, how am I made to breathe? How are my lungs functioning? Like, how many cells or like motions are going on within my body is just mesmerizing. So I think just alhamdulillah 1,000 times for everything. So I'll just stop here for now and check in to see if people have anything to share. Please, we would be happy to hear your excitements as well, and some of your reflections throughout this journey that the author is walking us through. I mean, for him to be even writing like how many, this is the 18th remedy, like, well, we started from 1 all the way to 18. That's huge. It's like nonstop. So this is what we need to focus on rather than complaining. Alrighty. Looks like.
So Marian and Rihanna are available. Maybe we can start from the first paragraph.
Yay.
And see why would I complain? For example, for anything. I mean, I feel myself, I'm also sick in a way because the author is kind of talking to me, to my reality, my human self, that, oh, who gives up offering and thanks and takes up complaining. So what would lead one anyone to complain. Would you have any comment? Mariam and Ryan, would you want to say, why would one complain about anything?
Yeah. What's the point in complaining?
So,
You want me to put up the question? Why would anyone?
sure, yeah. I mean,
What's the point in complaining?
if we read the first paragraph, it is hinting at what the, where does complaint comes from. And the second sentence does say that complaint arises from a right. That this is my right. This is what I need to have. And none of your rights have been lost that you should complain. So what is this attitude of right? Would anyone want
Have
to?
your hand up.
Yeah, go ahead, please. Mariam, Rayan, go ahead.
So the question you had about about complaining, I just think there's no need to complain because you get help every day, and like I always say, it's just like a message, because you can't always like feel well every day, and so basically I want to say that when you are like unthankful, it's kind of weird in my case, because if you have all these bounties, what is there to be unthankful of? Even if you just have one thing, you can't just be unthankful. At least you're living on this universe with something, and you're still surviving with the sources you have around you.
Also, here's an example. Like, let's say, you're not thankful, and you get gifts, right? Like it's someone's birthday, you get gifts on your birthday party or something or whatever. And then you're like, man, I wanted more gifts, Like if you're gonna say like you wanted more gifts, you're not gonna get more gifts because you're not thankful. Like if you're thankful and you get gifts, you're like, thank you, thank you. It's like the people who ever gave you the gifts. You're gonna get more gifts because you're thankful, and you're not like saying, oh, I got more gifts than you, I got a lot of gifts, let's go, or something like that. You're just appreciating that you got the gifts. You're thankful. Like, and if you're not thankful, like I said, you can't, like, you're not gonna get more gifts because you're like you have ungratitude. Like you're not sincere.
Basically, what Rand's saying is like how it's like the thought that matters, not the gifts.
Interesting takeaways, both of you. It's taking me back to some childhood memories that perhaps I shouldn't share with this whole gift stuff. But, when you're growing up, you get gifts and everything. And after a certain time, you're like, no, I don't need this. I grew out of this. But people who are older than you, they're like, no, like, take this. But I think any memory that comes now, I'm reflecting on it, is just a matter of, I think, clearing things out in terms of, what's the meaning behind any gifts. So, yeah, but jazakallah khair, both of you, for sharing. Anyone else want to share out the question that Hamim posted on the chat, as in, what's the point in complaining about anything, and why should anyone complain, as in, none of my rights have been lost, so what am I complaining about? Anyone? Oh, I see Azima, Mariam, and Ryan. Go ahead, please.
I want to like say that basically everything, well, it's kind of something that we were talking about earlier, about basically everything is a gift in your existence.
Yes.
It's a beautiful realization.
Yeah. So Asim here saying that's actually Go ahead, say that.
That's a beautiful realization. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
That everything is a gift
Mm.
whatever I am given, whatever's in existence is a gift.
That's
to
interesting.
Make me realize.
Yeah, even our thoughts and emotions, when we're realizing it, becomes a gift in itself. So yeah, existence, questioning the existence of anything, just existence in general is a gift. Alhamdulillah. And let's see, anyone else? Any other participants who wants to chime in? Anything that comes to your mind? Or maybe if you have a question.
Let's read maybe the first paragraph.
Yeah, let's read the first paragraph again. Good point. So Mariam Ryan, if you can slowly read the first paragraph so we can all try to digest it, and then, it will open up to some more reflections, inshallah. So go ahead, please. Thank you.
Okay. 18th remedy. O sick person, who gives up offering thanks and takes up complaining. Complaint arises from a right, and none of your rights have been lost that you should complain. Indeed, there are numerous things which are an obligation for you, a right over you, and these you have not performed. Without Almighty God giving you the right, you are complaining as though demanding rights in a manner which is not rightful. You cannot look at others superior to you in degree who are healthy and complain. You are rather charged with looking at the sick who, from the point of view of health, are at a degree lower than yourself, and should offer thanks. If your hand is broken, look at theirs, which is severed. If you have only one eye, look at the blind, who lack both eyes, and offer thanks to God.
Thank you so much for reading. So while you were reading, something got imparted in terms of, this sentence. I was like, wait, complaint arises from a right. I think Asim highlighted it earlier, but I'm glad that we read this again. And none of your rights have been lost that you should complain. So arises from a right. What is my right? Do I have any right here? I'm a little scratching my head here, thinking about it. So what is my right? So complaint arises from a right. So what is my right really? Would anyone care to share that? I'm gonna put it up on the chat while you guys are gathering your thoughts. Complaint arises from a right. What kind of rights do I have? As in what? I mean, I didn't choose to come into existence.
Right. So is anything mine to begin with?
Is anything? Yeah, exactly. So what am I even taking ownership over?
Is my health mine?
No.
To begin with, or somebody gives me my health? Is the body mine, or somebody gives me the body? Are the hands mine, or somebody gives me the hand? Are my thinking ability mine, or somebody gives me that thinking ability? So, as Mariam had pointed out earlier, where she said, realizing everything is given to us. So that realization should make us understand, hey, nothing is mine really. So first of all, what is my actual duty or my right based on this, everything that has been given to me? Is it to start thinking that they're mine and start complaining that, hey, I don't have this, versus looking at what I have? And why is it, as if I have the right to ask and say, hey, basically that's the same attitude that in the story where at every step of the going towards those stairs, you're given a gift, and then every stage of your life, we just don't think it is important.
Yes.
So we don't take our existence here as important. So whatever the conditions we are given, we don't see that they are important to us. We just take it for granted that, hey, this is my right, that I should have this, and if I don't have this, I just start complaining. So is that a human attitude of a human being, or this is something that we need to really understand and really think about.
Here's
That-
my, sorry. Do I have a right to exist?
Good question. Do you have a right to exist?
Mm-hmm.
Would anybody? I mean, you are here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that once you are here in this world, I think that whatever is the condition one is in, whatever in they're given existence in a particular way, then somebody has favored that existence, that condition over there.
So I have a right to exist. Once I'm given existence, once I'm brought here, then I have the right to exist. As in, every moment I'm being brought into existence. So I'm given existence, and so I can conclude, yes, I have the right to exist because I'm given existence. Here I am. And so, I'm just like reflecting on what you shared, which is very helpful. What are my rights is really, my rights are not to complain. And I don't know. What do you all think? Feel free to participate, raise your hand, join the conversation. What do you say? So there's no like really, what are my rights? I can't really like, it's something for me to reflect on. But like what can I claim ownership over? Nothing.
We have to think about what is our right.
Okay. Yes, Brother Ali, help us out here, please. Thank you.
The question looks like it is begging the question itself. If you don't exist, you wouldn't know that. Do I have a right to exist or not? After you exist, you are given existence. Then you can ask yourself, do I have a right to exist? No, I didn't have any right to exist because I've not done anything to do it. I haven't done anything to gain the right to exist. If you do a job, then you have the right to ask for the payment for your labor. But you haven't done anything. So you will say, no, it is just a gift. You will realize it. But of course, if you ask this question straight away without thinking on which conditions we are talking about. So after being created, you don't have a right to exist, but there is a fine point here for other creatures. My relationship with the other creatures, I have to respect their existence. As far as I am concerned, they have a right to exist next to my existence because their existence is not given by me. That is another subject. But it is a interesting subject, but it is another subject.
You're muted, or I don't hear you. Is it me?
I'm done. Thank you.
Okay. I have nothing to say because I'm thinking on it, but that was a good one actually in terms of the relationship with the creation around me. But I am thinking about my existence, and so we are all given existence, and if I'm given existence, then I must have a right to exist, as in someone preferred to give me existence. So then I should have, I don't know, wait. Like, yeah, that's a good one actually to ponder over. But as far as existence is concerned, like, I don't know, I'm just gonna pause really rather than blah, blah, blah. You wanna say something? No.
So you are asking creation around you, everything is there as an example for us to look at things that they're existing. And just like my existence, I did not do anything. I didn't choose myself. but I have been given existence, and now I wonder at my existence, and I have to respond back to whoever gives me existence, communicate with that. Same thing with the other beings, other creatures. They are also there for me to recognize who brings them here. And everything, every being, every thing we see around us in the universe is preferred and has been chosen to be that way. They're all gifts and favors to learn from for me. So that's why as we go along in that paragraph, he says, first of all, recognize what my responsibility is, what is my actual right, which is to recognize that everything has been given to me as a gift, as a bounty, and which I'm not fulfilling. Nobody can say they're fulfilling, because there's just endless, innumerable gifts and bounties that we are receiving at every moment. But we don't fulfill that duty, which is something that we need to work on. That is why the message of the guidance that comes to us brings us back into what we need to be engaged with and what our realization needs to be.
Okay, mashallah.
And the second part of the paragraph kind of touches upon if you, let's say you are given a sickness or illness and you see somebody else as healthy, right? So you don't start complaining, because this health is also given to that person. The sickness is also given to me. Everything is coming from not myself or anything else in the universe, but the one who's in charge of this whole universe, right? So, but looking at the one who is healthy and looking at my own sickness and the health that I have been experiencing, at some point I can realize, hey, whoever gives the health, whoever gives the sickness, I have to know that being as the one who is able to give the health or the sickness. So that everything becomes a means for me to recognize who the actual source of health giving is, who's the actual owner of the universe.
Thank you, actually, for putting it this way, where I connect everything to an absolute source of health giver. Okay, so this whole what are my rights? Okay, I share your takeaways as well with how you said that my rights is really me acknowledging that everything is coming from a source of existence. Okay, my rights is to acknowledge, right, or recognize that everything is coming from a source of existence. Okay, good. However, you know how the author is walking us through with, oh, look at the ones where,
Don't compare yourself
yeah,
being superior, or
like how we like
look at the ones who don't have,
right.
who don't have it.
Yeah, so let's say you're walking on the street. I mean, it's a little boy's walking on the street with his parents, like, complaining about something, and the parents say, okay, stop complaining. Look at that, the other little boy, he's like, shining someone's shoes like that. I mean,
Yeah.
I would say, I think that's the whole point of the Quranic education, is to get out of this mindset. Like, I don't need to be able to experience this to what, like a coping mechanism for myself. It almost seems like a coping mechanism if I'm comparing myself to someone who's maybe less privileged than I am, or something like that. Don't you feel like that? I mean, don't you think so? Like, that shouldn't be like a coping mechanism for me to connect to this. Maybe if I can use that to connect to the source of my existence, why not? But ideally, I don't know, like, ever since I
Okay, so
started these this whatever discussions, I was like, okay, yeah, like, this doesn't help. It's just very superficial. Like, yeah, be grateful, yeah, alhamdulillah, I have this, I have that, but we gotta go more steps beyond this. Perhaps it's just like preliminary steps, but then we need to further progress with that, or use this as a means or vehicle to help me connect to the source of my existence. Otherwise, that can be used as a coping mechanism, but I don't know.
Right. So what's the alternative? Like, should I start complaining?
No, it's the whole. Sorry, go ahead, Siddharth.
No,
Just wanna.
So should I start complaining that I don't, you know, I don't have that thing that I see around me, or
No, it's rather than like comparing with other things. You know how we say, oh, even Nursi mentions that just for 1 grain of rice, you don't need a whole plate of rice, you know, to be grateful. Just 1 grain of rice can connect you to your maker. Or you don't need like 10 cups of tea, just like 1 cup of tea should suffice to thank your maker. I think that's very prevalent. That's how it is. But I think this whole notion of just focusing on just like one thing you have, rather than comparing it to, you know, 10 cups of tea. I remember like in one of these discussions, I think that was mentioned. So that just stuck with me for, you know, all these years. So I'm like, okay, almost it seems like, yeah, humanity, you know, I have this, alhamdulillah, be grateful. All right. That kinds of look like that. But I don't know, maybe like you were saying, what's the other alternative? So maybe because the author wants us not to complain, he wants us to get out of this complaining attitude. So the immediate solution is just like, hey, look at Joe down the street and say, oh, alhamdulillah, please, you know, I have this, you know, he has that. Yeah. I mean, this comparison thing doesn't like, you know, sit well with me. I don't know what everybody's take is on this, but I just wanted to really express out what came to me right now. Yeah. What do you all say? Mariam, Rayan, or we have Mariam Ostermer as well. Yay, good to see you. So yeah, please chime in. I would be looking forward to your notes as well, inshallah. Anyone else? Nobody? Wait, there's a comment on the chat. Can I complain about the fact I feel like complaining? Can I complain about the fact I feel like complaining? Oh boy. Do you want to express out yourself here, Sohail? I don't know what you're saying.
Assalamualaikum. No, it's just, you know, it's a question, but can one complain about the fact that they want something, or is given the inclination or feeling to want something, if that makes sense? Like, there would be no need to complain if man didn't have the inclination or need to want something more. That's my question.
Alrighty, let me try to understand this a little bit. Sorry, I'm a little slow, but so you're saying that I need to question my sense of complaining. Where did I get that from? And so there would be no need to complain, as in the sense of complaining would not be given existence to me if I didn't have the need of wanting more.
So what I'm saying is, it's almost like a devil's advocate question. Should I be held responsible, or why is it my problem that I want something more? That's just how I'm made, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. Actually, now I'm thinking about it. Like I'm made this way. It's not my doing, as in wanting more or desiring to upgrade my tools or anything. Yeah, so interesting. So your question is that, can I complain about the fact I feel like complaining? Oh, okay. And well, there are a bunch of stuff going on the chat. So I'm gonna give the mic to Mariam Al-Jamir. Let's hear from you, please. And yeah. You don't have a mic, no problem. So you're saying if you complain about wanting to complain, that means you don't want to complain. So this example might be contradicting itself. Okay, oh my God. It's a lot of logic going on. And for a Saturday afternoon, I think I need to do some jumping jacks. But thank you all. I saw Brother Ali, your hand was up, and I know there were some other comments also posted. HBS is saying the sense of complaint always comes from wanting more. Okay, so Brother Ali, please, the microphone is yours right now.
It is a general problems, not only the problem raised by our friends here. People say, since I am given existence, I deserve to be satisfied about them. After being existence, I deserve to, because whoever gave me the existence, he must provide. Whatever he created me with the need of something, so he must provide me. Yeah, that's a legitimate question. It's a good question, but we have to understand from the very scratch of the matter, root of the problem. What is the problem that we human beings may confuse lies here. Yes, we are given existence and existence of a need to be satisfied about our own existence. That is correct. But we are given at the same time the free will to choose between different options. And alongside with this existence and the free will, we are given the consciousness, the sense of intellect. So we have to work all together. Our feelings on one side wants to be satisfied, and on the other side, since I want to be satisfied, I have the free will to choose, saying that, of course, I must be satisfied then. That's correct. And that is my choice. But intelligence says, just a minute. Are you aware of your existence? The consciousness says, yes, I am aware of my existence. Okay. Are you aware of the senses which desire to be satisfied? And intellect answers back, is, yeah, I am aware that they are given this capacity to be satisfied as well, or desire to be satisfied as well. All these dialogues are going on within the one person. There are not different people. So intellect, the consciousness says, okay, you are aware of your existence, the existence of your feelings, etc. Intellect says, well, let me question then, offers to free will. Free will, and says, free will, okay, choose this way or the other way. Which one is true? You can confirm, the intellect can confirm that. Free will says, okay, if I choose that since I am given existence, so that I must be satisfied. And also, intellect offers, if you choose the fact that the purpose of existence must be designated by the one who gave it to you. Let's think about it. What is the reason for my existence and for the existence of my feelings and all the qualities that I am utilizing right now? Of course, we have to think seriously at this stage. Of course, the intellect says there is something going on in my existence, that some contradictory things are happening here. I have been given a a sense of satisfaction in every aspect of my feelings, in every division of my feelings, but this sense of satisfaction has no end. Intellect reminds human free will. So make a right choice so that you will be consistent within yourself. Is there any way to get the satisfaction? Because there is no end. Of course, intellect says, look, there is no way that you can satisfy your feelings here. So there must be a purpose in the existence of your feelings which want to be satisfied, desire to be satisfied eternally. So think about it. Who gave you this sense of desire for eternal satisfaction? Who gave you this? Did you get it yourself? So intellect argues with the free will, saying that, hey, make a right choice so that you shouldn't put yourself into a contradiction. So we are human beings within us going on all these arguments always. So we can think about it. Now, the one who gave me a sense of satisfaction for every feelings, not only for my health, not only for my pleasure, not only for my life, for my existence, but also about the details of my needs. For example, I want to be satisfied in the taste, delicious food of every kind of delicious food. There's no end. So intellect says, where did you get this feeling? You didn't create it. You didn't invent it. You are given. So why don't you think that these feelings are given to you in order to use them, for the purpose of acknowledging who is the creator of this need for eternity in your feelings? Then intellect shows the way. Look, you can understand that the one who gave you these feelings wants you to acknowledge that you are going to be given by the one who gave you this existence of desire for eternal satisfaction. Why don't you acknowledge him? And the free will says, look, let me think now, because if I acknowledge him, I wouldn't have an egoistic, self-centric concern, and I must submit myself to the creator of my feelings, which desire to be satisfied eternally. And human beings are free there at that point. Whether they submit the reality, they accept the reality that they are created for eternal satisfaction by the one who is promising that he is able to do that, and he will do it. How do we know that? In our way we are created, in the way that we are created. It is also supported by revelation through the prophets, and we hear this through wonderful scriptures, speech of God, in confirmation of our reality that we are living here. And they guide us. Oh, that's it. This way is the right, and your creator confirmed this way. But human beings are still free to submit to the truth and leave the egoistic, self-centric, capricious attitude that I want it right now and I want to complain because he didn't give me. But he is promising, trust him. If you don't, you are free to choose, but you have to keep complaining about all your throughout your life and die in ungratefulness. And the one who gave you this, look, you contradicted yourself, you put yourself in torture, you deserve no pity at all. You deserve to be okay this way because you have chosen it. You have chosen this way to be miserable. You remain miserable. That is the wisdom we learn from our feelings as well as from the revelation. So revelation and feelings really complement each other. So reason keeps saying, reminding, consciousness is aware of what is going on, and reason collects this or benefits from this data provided by consciousness and presents to human free will, but human free will has always two options: to submit, to surrender to what reason offers, or to reject it. Human feelings are free to do that. That's why the question is very general, very general. Not only that the question is asked here, but the question has been asked by many people saying that since God, if there is a God, he gave us these senses, he must do it. But he gave you this sense, he promises he will do it. But you want it according to your desire, according to your wish, self-centered concern. I want it like that. But the one who gave it to you needs to be trusted. Since he gave it to you, he knows when and how they must be satisfied. Just put your trust in your creator and see whether he can do it or not. If you understand that he can, stop complaining. He will. Why? If he is not going to give it to you, why he would have given it to you? He doesn't. He doesn't seem to be a simple creator. He is the creator of not only you. You are wonderful, yes, but there are billions, trillions of other wonderful creatures. They are all given existence by the same creator. I think this argument needs really deep thinking, not in superficial the way of looking at the case as it appears to be, without really going into a serious inner side of yourself and analyze it there within yourself. What is going on within myself? Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Jazakallah khair. Wow, a lot was shared and I was just so mesmerized by, we are wonderful creatures, seriously. We just need to do some inner work and dive deep into our inner state of being. And I even forgot what the initial query was we were talking about. Complain. So I guess bottom line, I mean, it's really what the author is drawing our attention is that stop complaining, right? Thou shalt not complain. Don't complain. And so it's easy said than done, but how do I go on in this process? So I think it's amazing like how every time the Quranic message, and even in your reflection right now, it directs us to existence in general, as in what's the purpose of this, what's the purpose of this feeling, what's the purpose of the sense, and what satisfies it, and what do I do with it? If I get it, then what is beyond that, or things of that nature. But yeah, this is good. Alhamdulillah. Anyone else wants to say something, share out? And this was just the first paragraph, ladies and gentlemen. If you have anything else you want to express out, go for it. I don't know, like I just have lots of scattered thoughts going on. I really, but I think really the main point here is being watchful, or catching myself in a complaint mode and then rectifying it, as in get out of it. And also, yep. Anything else, anyone? By the way, children, I'm really expecting you all to take good notes. Inshallah, I know a person who will be very appreciative of them. So make sure you guys are jotting down notes. If all is good, then, all is every time good, but let's see. I think we can move on to the next para, right? Okay, so let's move on to the next paragraph. So we have, who are our readers? The readers, you know who you are. Please unmute yourself and read up the second paragraph.
Yeah, so for sure, no one has the right to look to those superior to him in regard to bounties and complain. Concerning tribulations, it is everyone's right to look to those above themselves in that regard, so that they should offer thanks. This mystery has been explained in a number of places in the risale-i, with a comparison, a summary of it as follows.
Read up, please.
A person takes a wretched man to the top of a minaret. On every step he gives him a different gift, a different bounty. Right at the top he gives him the largest present, although he wants thanks and gratitude in return for all those various gifts. The peevish man forgets the presents he has received on each of the stairs, or considers them to be of no importance, and offering no thanks, looks above him and starts to complain, saying, "If only the minaret had been higher, I could have climbed even further. Why isn't it as tall as the mountain over there, or that other minaret?" What great ingratitude it would be if he begins to complain like this. What a wrong!
In just the same way, man comes into existence from nothing, not as a rock or a tree or an animal, but as a human being and a Muslim, and most of the time experiences good health and acquires a high level of bounties. Despite all this, to complain and display impatience because he is not worthy of some bounties, or because he loses them through wrong choices or abuse, or because he could not obtain them. And to criticize divine dominicality, saying, "What have I done that this has happened to me?" is a state of mind and spiritual sickness more calamitous than the physical one. Like fighting with a broken hand, complaint making makes his illness worse. Sensible is the person who, in accordance with the meaning of the verse, those who when struck by calamity say to God, "Do we belong?" and to God is our return. Chapter 2, verse 156. Submits and is patient. so that the illness may complete its duty, then depart.
Yep. Thank you. Wow. So a lot of stuff going on. Interesting. Anyone has any highlights here? Now that we read it a second time, slowly. Don't know. Like the next two paragraphs with the story, I think it's pretty self-explanatory, like how we went over it earlier at the beginning. And I mean, at any point, please raise your hand if you want to express something out. Yeah, it's, I was just looking into this last paragraph sentence. Man comes into existence from nothing, not as a rock or a tree or an animal, but as a human being and a Muslim, and most of the time experiences good health and acquires a high level of bounties. I mean, that's the general state of the human being, really. But I think it's the author is saying it out pretty well, that despite all this, to complain and display patience is against, I would say, the nature of this universe, because really, I don't give existence to anything, so what am I complaining about? It's interesting. Even, and I think the verse itself is very powerful. It's it's a reality here and now. To God do we belong, and to God is our return. That's just puts us in a state of utmost awareness that I don't control anything. Even the sound outside right now, it's very annoying. Let me just pause. Yeah, anything that just, is imparted onto us. It's just like a message coming in, and then we just need to read it, acknowledge the sender. That's the main part. Always acknowledge the sender of any message that's coming. And while we're still going over this last piece, I think what was also striking, how the author mentions is, hey, what have I done that this happened to me? Is a state of mind and spiritual sickness more calamitous than the physical one? And I think we all, I think I can speak for myself, do get caught up in this. Oh my God, like, what did I do? Why me? But he's saying, no, just, let's get out of this attitude, because it becomes a spiritual sickness. Just look into what this is pointing towards, because then if I get stuck in an attitude like that, as like even assessing a situation, I know, what have I done? Something, let's say, I don't know, spilled coffee on the train on somebody, and then, definitely we assess the situation, but we need to make the connection of existential side. Otherwise, I end up appropriating the event to myself, and which becomes like a form of shirk. Or I may attribute it to another person, like, yeah, why did you like push me or take my seat on the train? So obviously that coffee was supposed to be spilled. So then again, there's no divine connection, as in there's no vertical connection. So then, I think we need to get out of that. Otherwise, we can just get stuck in this mindless state of being, or it's really like a problem with no solution. All right, anything else from anyone? Brother Ali, go ahead, please. Brother Ali?
Now thank you. This verse is quite interesting as far as it teaches us how to read the Quran or the speech of God. When God speaks, the Creator speaks to human beings, he doesn't always command, do that, in a straightforward way, but he suggests. For example, in this verse says, those who, when struck by calamity or something, actually the word musibah is not calamity, what hits you, whatever comes to you. But good one, bad one, according to you. Everything is good or another subject. But according to you, it's a good one or it's a bad one, whatever it is. So what we have to understand from this verse, that we have to learn how to read the verses. They say this, it means it is an offer to us to follow this way of reasoning in order to solve your problem. If you are feeling that you are in a troubled position, you are not happy with it, whatever is given to you, even you are happy with it, because those who are struck by something strikes may be a good one, not bad one necessarily, as the translation said, calamity, musibah. Musibah is something hit the target, hit you. That is actually hitting the target. It means asaba. So even in most of the languages that Muslims use, like Urdu or Arabic, yes, definitely, but even Turkish, isabet means you have hit the target. You succeeded, it means, really. So not necessarily a bad one. Whatever happens to you, if you are happy with it, what are you going to do with it? If you are unhappy with it, what are you going to do with it again? Think that following of the verse is beautiful. Say, we belong to God. We came from God. The source of existence of your concern, whatever it is, good or bad, hits you. Think about the source of existence of it first. The text, the Quran also says, the source of existence is me, the creator. But he's offering now for us how to reason. He says, okay, think of the purpose, the source of existence of yourself. Where did you get your, for example, sense of complaint? Where did you get your sense of happiness, pleasure, desire, etc.? Whatever you have, first you have to concentrate on it and think, reflect that, where did you get it? And then you will understand that the one who gave you this sense, he says, realize that you have to return your desire, your thankfulness, your pain, your expectations, everything. You have to return it to the one who gave it to you. He will take care of it. But this is an opportunity for you to understand who is the source of existence, so that the solution is with the source of existence itself. Return it to him. It means he can do it. The conclusion is only the one who gave you the existence of anything, desire, fear, like, dislike, he can satisfy it. That is what you have to realize. That is the purpose of existence. For for our human side. This is the one who is going to satisfy it. That is your duty to understand it and return it back to him. He is the solution. Thank you very much.
Jazakallah khair, Brother Ali. That was beautiful, actually. So this is actually very eye-opening that what we call calamity and the word musiba, it has a different connotation in terms of it's really my perception of it, how I look into it. So if I'm able to connect it to the source of my existence, then hey, I fulfill the purpose of my existence, but I'm also have the free will of looking at it from a negative lens. So, but at the end of the day, I think, the author shares the words correctly here. To God do we belong, and to God is a return. So just look for the source of existence of things. And Hatice Pesa, go ahead, please.
Assalamu alaikum. Sorry for the last minute comment. Not really adding much on, but just Brother Ali's last comments sparked some thoughts in me. I think that going back a little bit to the question that was asked before too, there's a difference between the human being complaining about an expectation not being met versus having an expectation that you want met. And I don't think complaining in and of itself is a necessary reaction to being created with an expectation. And so I think when one complains as a result of finding that they have these desires and they want them met, but if they immediately react in a way where they just want it, instead of questioning the premise of how they got that desire in the first place, then that resembles the person the text says, the one who's saying, what have I done that this has happened to me? It resorts one to have this horizontal relationship with things and get stuck within the world itself. Whereas, as Brother Ali was saying, if I question the sense of the expectations, or the sense of the need for eternity or for eternal health or eternal life, then that itself is kind of changing my gaze to where I'm headed. And I think, I guess it might be another question to say, what if genuinely someone looks for it and they're not able to find it? But then, I guess that's speculation, although it could happen. And I think that would be another case for me to think about in my mind. But I think that essentially, inevitably, everyone finds themselves in a state of saying, hey, I have this expectation, whether consciously or unconsciously. And if I just say, I want it, I don't care, that's not really questioning the purpose of why is it that I am this way, or how can I attain it. It's just like saying, I want this, I'm hungry and I just want the food, instead of questioning the sense of hunger, why do I eat, etc., etc. So I found it beautiful how the verse kind of changes again the way in which I am to approach the situation that I find myself in, when it is that I find an expectation within myself, and I want it met.
Jazakallah khair, Hatice, for sharing your reflection. It was good hearing from you. We are at time, 5:34, but we can squeeze in. Where's Mariam Ostermir? Oh, look at that. Disappeared. Oh, okay. No worries. So maybe you can have, if Mariam or Rayan, do you have any notes to share with us? Any takeaways for the day? Something for us to live by until we meet next, inshallah? No pressure. So my main takeaway is stop complaining and look for the source of existence of everything. Anyone else wants to share something? If I'll give it a couple of seconds. If not, then
My takeaway is the verse. It just like says everything that like makes sense about like complaining and about our creator who gives us our bounties.
Jazakallah khair for sharing that. It's a beautiful summary and takeaway. Yep. So I think we can try to live with this until we meet next, inshallah. With this, let's conclude for today. Thank you all for coming in and joining the discussion. It was a lovely Saturday afternoon, alhamdulillah. And next week, we will pick up from the 19th remedy. Again, thank you for those who contributed as well. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Glory be unto you. We have no knowledge saved except that which you've taught us. Indeed, you're all knowledgeable, all wise. Wa akhiru da'wahum alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen bi hurmati surat al-Fatiha. Ameen. And yep, assalamu alaikum everyone. See you all tomorrow, inshallah. Goodbye.
Assalamu alaikum.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله. ريان